Hey folks, welcome back. Have you ever walked away from someone only to wonder if they ever truly realized what they lost? Maybe you gave them your time, your energy, your love, only to be met with indifference or betrayal. It's a painful feeling, isn't it? But here's the thing. People rarely appreciate what they have until it's gone. And when they finally do, the realization hits them like a storm they never saw coming. Today, we're diving deep into what happens when they finally realize they lost someone truly valuable. The regret, the longing, the late-night thoughts they can't escape. But more importantly, we'll talk about why their feelings no longer define your worth. Because true power isn't in making them suffer, it's in rising above it all. By the end of this video, you'll understand the emotional roller coaster they go through, from heartbreak and denial to the moment they finally see your true value. And trust me, the last stage is one they'll never admit, but you'll feel it in the way they look at you, the way they hesitate, the way they wish they could turn back time. So stick around, because this one might just change the way you see loss, regret, and ultimately, your own power. Let's get started. Number 1. Heartbreak and betrayal, the initial pain. Hey folks, let's talk about something that cuts deep. Heartbreak and betrayal. That moment when someone you trusted, someone you invested in emotionally, suddenly walks away or takes you for granted. It's a feeling that hits you in the chest like a weight you didn't ask to carry. At first, it doesn't seem real. Your mind keeps replaying conversations, moments, and memories, trying to make sense of what happened. You start questioning yourself. Was it something you did? Something you should have seen coming? But here's the truth. When someone leaves or betrays you, it's not about what you lacked. It's about what they failed to recognize. Heartbreak is like a storm. It comes in waves. First, the disbelief, then the pain, and finally, the emptiness. And the worst part, the person who caused it is out there living their life like nothing happened. Maybe they seem happy. Maybe they moved on fast. And that only makes the pain cut deeper. But let me tell you something. They are not as unaffected as they seem. Because loss isn't always felt immediately. Sometimes it takes time for the weight of a bad decision to settle in. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Psychologists have found that emotional betrayal triggers the same neurological response as physical pain. That's why your chest feels heavy, why your appetite disappears, why your mind keeps circling back to them. It's not just in your head, it's science. And what do most people do when they're in pain? They chase. They beg for answers. They hold on, hoping for some kind of closure. But here's where most people go wrong. Seeking validation from the very person who caused the pain only deepens the wound. The real shift happens when you realize that their choice to leave says everything about them and nothing about you. If they truly valued you, would they have walked away? If they truly cared, would they have let you go so easily? See, when someone leaves, they're showing you their priorities, not your shortcomings. While you're sitting in silence, feeling the weight of their absence, they're experiencing something too. At first, they might feel relief. They might even convince themselves that leaving was the right decision. But relief is temporary, because once the excitement of freedom fades, something else takes its place. Emptiness. The kind that creeps in when they realize that no one understands them the way you did. No one listens the way you did. No one matches their energy the way you did. That's when regret starts knocking. And here's what most people don't realize. The moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop trying to make them see your worth, is the moment they start questioning everything. But what should you do in the meantime? The worst thing you can do is try to prove yourself to them. The best thing? Step back. Let them sit with their choices. Focus on you. Because the real power isn't in making them regret leaving. It's in realizing that you were always whole without them. If this is hitting home, drop a comment below and let me know. Have you ever experienced a moment where you realized someone lost you, not the other way around? Also, if you're finding value in this, hit the like button so more people can hear this message. And make sure you're subscribed, because what happens next in this journey, it's a complete game changer. Number 2, letting go, the turning point. Hey folks, let's be honest. Letting go is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. It feels unnatural, like you're giving up on something that once meant the world to you. But here's the truth. Letting go isn't about losing someone. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about realizing that holding on to something that no longer serves you is what's truly keeping you stuck. At first, the idea of moving on seems impossible. Your mind keeps replaying the good moments, searching for meaning, for closure that may never come. And that's normal. The human brain is wired to seek patterns, to make sense of things that feel unresolved. That's why heartbreak lingers. It's not just about missing them. It's about missing the certainty you once had. But here's where most people get stuck. They confuse longing with love and attachment with connection. The truth is, real love doesn't create suffering. It doesn't keep you up at night wondering if you were enough. It doesn't make you question your worth. And once you understand that, something shifts. Letting go isn't a single action, it's a process. And it starts with one decision: choosing yourself. That moment happens when you decide to stop checking your phone, to stop waiting for a text, to stop hoping they'll come back and make things right. You begin to realize that the closure you're looking for doesn't come from them. It comes from you. You don't need an apology to move on. You don't need an explanation to find peace. What you need is the courage to walk away, not because they don't matter, but because you do. And this is where the real power of letting go begins. See, silence is one of the most powerful things you can give someone who took you for granted. When you stop giving someone your attention, they start noticing your absence. And that's the irony of human nature. People often don't appreciate what they had until it's gone. Think about it. Have you ever lost something valuable, only to realize its worth once it was out of reach? Maybe it was a friendship, an opportunity, or a moment in time you took for granted. The same thing happens in relationships. When you remove yourself, when you truly detach, you create a void, and that void forces them to face reality, not the idealized version of you they had in their mind, but the real impact of your presence in their life. Psychologists call this psychological reactance, the instinctive desire to regain something that feels lost. The moment you stop chasing, they start feeling the distance. They wonder why you're not reaching out. They question if you ever really needed them in the first place. And suddenly, the power dynamic shifts. But here's the thing. Letting go isn't about making them regret losing you. It's not about proving a point. It's about freeing yourself from the cycle of needing their validation. Because when you truly let go, you're no longer waiting for them to notice, to apologize, to come back. You've already moved forward. So how do you know when you've truly let go? It's when their name doesn't trigger a reaction anymore. When you no longer feel the urge to check their social media, to wonder what they're thinking, to wait for a message that may never come. It's when your peace becomes non-negotiable. And here's the paradox. When you reach that point, that's usually when they start noticing. Because nothing is more attractive than someone who is completely secure in themselves. The moment you stop seeking their approval, you step into your true power. If you've ever felt the weight of letting go, I want you to drop this phrase in the comments. I choose peace. Say it, claim it, own it. Because that's what this journey is about. Choosing yourself, choosing growth, choosing peace. And if this message resonates with you, hit that like button so more people can hear this. Subscribe if you haven't already, because the next part of this journey, it's where everything changes. Number 3, the power of silence, the ultimate revenge. Hey folks, let's talk about something truly powerful, silence. Most people think of revenge as loud, dramatic, filled with arguments and confrontation. But what if I told you that the most powerful response isn't about proving a point at all? What if I told you that silence is the sharpest weapon you have? The kind that cuts deep without you even lifting a finger. See, when someone walks away, disrespects you, or takes you for granted, your first instinct might be to fight for clarity, to demand answers, or to make them realize what they lost. That's human nature. We crave closure. But here's the truth. The more you try to explain your worth to someone who already dismissed it, the more power you give them. And nothing weakens your position faster than chasing someone who isn't looking back. This is where silence becomes your greatest ally. It's not about manipulation. It's about shifting the focus back to yourself. When you stop engaging, when you remove your energy, something incredible happens. You create a void, and human nature despises a void. The person who once had access to your presence now feels the emptiness. And in that emptiness, they start questioning everything. Think about it. The moment someone stops responding, stops chasing, stops explaining, the dynamic changes. Suddenly, the person who was once in control is left wondering, why aren't they reacting? Why aren't they fighting for me? Did I misjudge their importance in my life? This is the psychological trigger of uncertainty. When something is predictable, we take it for granted. But when it's suddenly gone, it consumes our thoughts. And that's the paradox of silence. The less you do, the more impact you create. But here's the most crucial part. Silence isn't just about making someone miss you. It's about rediscovering your own peace. The true power of silence isn't in the effect it has on them, but in the way it transforms you. It forces you to stop seeking external validation and start valuing yourself from within. When you embrace silence, you stop waiting for closure that may never come. You stop depending on someone else's recognition to feel whole. And in that space, you rebuild stronger, wiser, and untouchable. And here's what really stings. The moment they realize they no longer have a hold on you is the moment they start craving your attention. It's ironic, isn't it? The very thing they took for granted becomes the one thing they want back. So, if you've ever experienced this shift, if you've seen how silence speaks louder than words, drop this phrase in the comments, "My silence speaks." Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. And if this message resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, because what comes next? It's the real game changer. Number 4, the glow up, becoming your best self. Hey folks, let's get real. There is no better response to being undervalued, overlooked, or taken for granted than leveling up. Not for revenge, not to make them regret it, but because the best version of you is waiting to be unlocked. A glow-up isn't just about looking better. It's about being better. It's about elevating every aspect of your life, so that when they do look back, they don't just miss you. They realize they never even knew this version of you. See, when people lose something valuable, their minds don't immediately register the depth of their mistake. At first, they might feel relief, or they might not even notice the absence. But as time passes, the reality sets in, and what hits the hardest? Seeing you thrive in a way they never expected. Because let's be honest, most people assume that when they leave, you'll struggle, You'll break. You'll wait for them. But when they see you rise instead of crumble, that's when the regret kicks in. So, what does a real glow-up look like? It's not just about changing your hairstyle or hitting the gym, though. Let's be real. Taking care of your body is a powerful move. It's about your energy shifting. It's about you walking into a room with a different presence, a quiet confidence that says, I know my worth, and I don't chase what isn't meant for me. Imagine this. You've been through the pain, the silence, the doubts, and now you wake up with purpose. You invest in yourself. You pour your energy into things that fulfill you, your passions, your growth, your happiness. You start surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, not drain you. And as you do, something incredible happens. Your entire aura changes. You see, people are drawn to those who exude self-respect and purpose. It's not about trying to make them miss you. It's about becoming someone so undeniably radiant that missing you is inevitable. And let's talk about one of the most overlooked parts of a glow-up, your mindset. When you stop seeking validation from the past, when you release the need for their recognition, you step into true power. You stop living for their attention and start living for your fulfillment. And trust me, there is nothing more attractive, nothing more intoxicating than someone who is fully at peace with themselves. At this point, they see you, maybe through social media, maybe through mutual friends, maybe just by sensing the shift in the energy. They realize that the version of you they knew is gone. And the kicker? You didn't do it for them. You did it for you. So, if you're in the middle of this transformation, if you're choosing growth over dwelling on the past, comment, I am leveling up. Because your glow-up isn't about proving anything to them. It's about becoming everything you were meant to be. And hey, if this resonated with you, give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, because trust me, the next step in this journey, it's one you don't want to miss. Number 5, the awakening, realizing your absence. Hey folks, let's talk about something powerful. The moment they realize you're truly gone, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, energetically. That moment when it finally sinks in that you are no longer a constant presence in their life. At first, they don't notice. They might assume you're still there, waiting, watching, hoping. But time has a funny way of revealing the truth. And when it hits, oh, it hits hard. See, people often take presence for granted until it becomes absence. They assume you'll always be around, always responding, always caring. But the second they look up and realize that your energy is no longer available to them, something shifts. And it's not just missing you, it's missing the way they felt when they had access to you. Think about it. When someone walks away from something good, they don't always recognize it immediately. At first, they're distracted, busy, maybe even relieved. But as time passes, as the distractions fade, and as new connections fail to fill the void you left, that's when the awakening happens. They start to see that what they walked away from was something rare, something valuable, something they may never find again. And here's the thing. Your absence speaks louder than any words ever could. Silence forces reflection. It makes them question, replay moments, wonder what changed. And as they scroll through old messages, as they see the pictures, as they hear your name in passing, they start to feel it, the loss, the emptiness, the regret. But here's what's important. You don't wait for this moment. You don't sit around hoping they realize. You've already moved forward. The true power in this awakening is that by the time they finally see what they lost, you are no longer the same person they once knew. The version of you they had access to, that version no longer exists. Now, they might reach out. They might test the waters, send a casual, "Hey, How have you been? Message. But deep down, they know it's not the same. You're not the same. And that's what truly haunts them. Because regret isn't just about missing someone. It's about knowing you had something good and letting it slip away. So, Stoic friends, if you're in the process of stepping away, of reclaiming your energy, of becoming someone they'll wish they never lost, comment, I am moving forward. Because the best part of this whole journey, it's not about them realizing your absence. It's about you realizing your worth. And hey, if this resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, because trust me, what comes next in this journey, it's even more powerful. Stay strong, stay focused, and let them feel exactly what they walked away from. Number 6. The test, when they come back. Hey folks, let's talk about that moment, the moment they come back. Because they always do, don't they? At first, they walk away, thinking they'll be fine without you. Maybe they assume you'll wait. Maybe they think you'll still be there whenever they decide to return. But then, reality sets in. They start to feel the weight of your absence. The silence that once felt like freedom now feels like regret. And suddenly, they're back, texting you out of nowhere, finding excuses to reach out, or accidentally running into you. This moment, it's a test of how much you've grown, a test of whether you've learned the lessons life tried to teach you, and most importantly, a test of whether you still see yourself as the prize, or if you're about to fall right back into the cycle you worked so hard to break. Now, let's be real. When they come back, your first instinct might be excitement, a rush of emotions. Your mind might instantly jump to, maybe this is it. Maybe they finally realized my worth. But pause for a second, my Stoic friends. Ask yourself, why are they really coming back? Are they back because they've genuinely changed? Because they've reflected, grown, and realized what they lost? Or are they back because they're lonely? Because things didn't work out the way they thought they would? Because they need an ego boost? There's a difference, and recognizing that difference, that's your power. Most people fail this test because they react too fast. They see that message, that call, that unexpected attempt to reconnect, and they rush to respond. They let emotions override logic. They fall for the nostalgia, the familiar comfort, the illusion that this time will be different. But here's what you need to remember. This isn't just a test for them, it's a test for you. So how do you pass? You pause. You breathe. You don't react. You respond. And before you respond, you ask yourself 3 important questions. Has this person truly changed? Or are they just repeating the same cycle? Are they bringing something valuable to my life now? Or are they just looking for comfort and validation? Do I feel stronger without them? Or am I just tempted by the past? And here's the thing, sometimes the best response is no response at all. Because silence is power. It forces them to sit with their own choices, to realize that you are no longer waiting, no longer settling, no longer the person who accepts breadcrumbs of attention. But if you do choose to engage, make sure it's on your terms. Don't slip back into old patterns. Don't give them the same version of you they walked away from. Instead, let them meet the new version, the one who knows their worth, and watch how the dynamic shifts. Because here's the ultimate truth. When you know your worth, you don't fear losing people anymore. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't settle. You move forward. And when they realize they can't shake you, when they see you thriving without them, that's when they truly understand what they lost. So, Stoic friends, if you've ever had someone try to walk back into your life after realizing what they lost, comment, I know my worth. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about them. It's about you. It's about choosing yourself, about standing firm in your strength, about understanding that whether they come back or not, you've already won. And if this message resonates with you, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights on mastering your mindset, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the next lesson, it's even more powerful. Stay tuned. Number 7. The regret when they wish they stayed. Hey folks, let's talk about something that always happens. Regret. At first, they don't see it. They think they're making the right decision by walking away, by taking you for granted, by believing they'll be just fine without you. Maybe they thought they had better options. Maybe they assumed you'd always be there. But time has a way of revealing the truth. And the truth is that regret always comes knocking. See, when someone loses a person of true value, someone who genuinely cared, supported, and brought out the best in them, it doesn't hit them right away. At first, they enjoy the illusion of freedom. They distract themselves. They chase new experiences, new people, new attention. And for a while, it works. Or at least, they convince themselves it does. But then, something shifts. One day, they wake up and realize something's missing. The excitement fades. The distractions stop working. And suddenly, they find themselves comparing everyone to you. The deep conversations, the emotional safety, the way you understood them in a way no one else did. They can't replace that. And this is when regret sets in. You see, psychology tells us that people don't always value what they have until it's gone. It's called the scarcity effect. When something is always available, people take it for granted. But the moment they realize they can't have it anymore, that's when they crave it the most. They start remembering the little things, how you used to check in on them, how you genuinely listened, how you made them feel seen, and suddenly, no one else measures up. And you know what makes the regret even worse? Watching you thrive without them. Nothing stings more than seeing the person they once had become even better without them. They expect you to be stuck, to be waiting, to still be emotionally attached. But instead, you're glowing, you're leveling up, you're moving forward. And that's when they start wondering, did I make a mistake? So what do? They start reaching out in subtle ways. Maybe it's a random, hey, how have you been? Text. Maybe they react to one of your posts. Maybe they bring up an old memory, trying to see if you still feel something. But deep down, they know they lost someone valuable. They know they didn't appreciate you when they had the chance. Now here's where a lot of people fail this test. They see the regret, and they think it means they should let them back in. But ask yourself, do they regret losing you? Or do they regret losing what you gave them? Because there's a difference. Real regret isn't just about missing you. It's about recognizing your worth. It's about understanding that what they lost wasn't just a person. It was a rare connection, a deep bond, a presence that made their life better. And if they only regret it because they're lonely, because they need validation, because they see you thriving without them, then that's not real regret. That's just their ego talking. So what should you do? You stay in your power. You don't let their regret become your responsibility. Because at the end of the day, you didn't walk away from you. They did. They made a choice. And now, they have to live with it. So, Stoic friends, if you've ever had someone realize what they lost and try to come back, comment I know my worth. Because the truth is, their regret is not your burden to carry. You are the prize, and real value doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't wait. And if this message resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep insights, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because what's coming next, it's even more powerful. Stay tuned. Number 8. True victory. Winning without revenge. Hey, Stoic friends, let's talk about winning. Not the kind that involves getting even, proving a point, or making them feel what you felt. No, true victory, it's something much bigger. See, when someone hurts us, when they take us for granted, betray our trust, or walk away thinking we were replaceable, our first instinct, it's to make them regret it. Maybe it's showing them we're doing better. Maybe it's proving we didn't need them. Or maybe, just maybe, it's wishing for the moment when they realize they made a mistake. That's human nature. But here's the thing. If your victory depends on their regret, you're still losing. Because the real win, it has nothing to do with them. It's about you. It's about rising above. About choosing peace over pettiness. About understanding that your power isn't in proving a point. It's in not needing to prove anything at all. Let's break this down. When someone walks away, when they assume you'll be waiting, when they think they won by leaving, they expect a reaction. They expect pain, maybe even anger. And when you give them nothing, when you don't beg, don't chase, don't try to prove your worth, that's when you win. Because silence is power. You see, revenge is easy. It's immediate. It's satisfying for a moment. But long term, it keeps you tied to them. It keeps you emotionally connected, even if it's through resentment. And the longer you focus on them, the longer you delay your own peace. But when you let go, not just physically, but mentally, when you stop wishing for their regret, when you stop needing closure, when you stop waiting for karma to do its job, that's when you take your power back. And let's be real, nothing unsettles someone more than seeing you truly, genuinely unbothered. When they check in, hoping to see if you're still hurt, and all they find is someone who has leveled up beyond them, that stings. When they realize that while they were busy trying to replace you, you were busy becoming the best version of yourself. That's a reality they can't escape. And the best part, you didn't even have to do anything to make it happen. Because real victory isn't about watching them fall. It's about rising so high that their world no longer affects yours. So, Stoic friends, let me ask you, what's more powerful, wasting energy on revenge, or redirecting that energy into building a life so full, so strong, so untouchable, that they become nothing more than a lesson? Exactly. So if you're ready to win without revenge, comment, "I choose peace" below. Because real power, it's not found in proving someone wrong. It's found in not needing to prove anything at all. And if this message hits home, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more powerful insights, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the final lesson, it's one you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. Number 9. The final message. Living stoic and free. Hey, Stoic friends. We've talked about regret, silence, self-transformation, and even the ultimate victory, winning without revenge. But now, this is where it all comes together. This is the final step. The moment where you no longer just understand the power of detachment, but embody it. When you've been hurt, when someone walks away thinking you'll never recover, when they believe they hold power over you, you have two choices. You can spend your time waiting for their regret, hoping they'll see your worth after they've lost you. Or you can take everything you've been through and turn it into something unshakable, a life of absolute freedom. And freedom? That's what Stoicism is all about. Freedom isn't about cutting people off out of spite. It's not about proving a point, making them jealous, or showing them what they missed. It's about reaching a place where their choices, past or present, don't control your emotions anymore. You no longer wake up thinking about them. You no longer shape your actions based on whether or not they're watching. You've let go, not because you had to, but because you realize something. Their presence in your life was never what defined your worth. It's about waking up in the morning and realizing that you are enough, with or without them. It's about knowing that your value isn't defined by who stays or who leaves, but by the way you carry yourself through it all. Because let's be honest, they lost you. But you didn't lose yourself. And that's the biggest win of all. Let's talk about reality. They may have walked away thinking they were making the right choice. Maybe they thought you would always be there. Maybe they thought you needed them more than they needed you. But the thing is, people only realize what they had when it's truly gone. When your energy, your support, your presence completely disappears from their life, a shift happens. At first, they may ignore it. They may even convince themselves that losing you was no big deal. But as time passes, they start to notice. They see the gap you left behind. They notice that the attention, the warmth, the presence you brought into their life, it's missing. And no matter who they surround themselves with, no matter how much they distract themselves, there's a truth they can't escape. They had someone rare, and they let them go. But here's the real question. Does it even matter to you anymore? There comes a point in your journey where their feelings, their regret, their longing, it's all irrelevant. Because while they were busy second-guessing their choices, you were busy evolving. You weren't waiting by the door for them to return. You weren't sitting around hoping they'd wake up one day and realize your worth. You were building something far greater than their validation. Self-mastery. When you reach this level of detachment, something incredible happens. You become unreachable. Not because you're cold, not because you're bitter, but because you've simply moved beyond the need for external validation. They could come back tomorrow, pouring out apologies, telling you they finally understand what they lost. And you'd listen. You'd nod, and then you'd walk away. Not to hurt them, not to get revenge, but simply because you're no longer the same person who needed their approval. Think about this. How many times have you seen someone thrive after heartbreak? How many times have you looked at a person who's been through hell and come out stronger, better, untouchable? That's not by accident. That's a choice. And today, you have that choice too. You can stay stuck in the past, wondering what if, or you can step forward, knowing that your life is no longer about waiting. It's about creating. That's what it means to live stoic and free. It means no longer letting external events dictate your inner peace. It means choosing strength over bitterness, purpose over resentment, and growth over stagnation. And the truth? They'll feel it. They'll see it. They'll wonder how you became so untouchable. But by then, it won't even matter to you anymore. Because the greatest lesson in all of this? You were never meant to be controlled by someone else's decisions. You were always meant to be free. So if you're ready to step into that power, comment "I choose freedom" below. Because at the end of the day, this journey, it was never about them. It was always about you. And that, Stoic friends, is the ultimate truth. Your value was never tied to who stayed or who left. It was always within you. If this video resonated with you, let me know by commenting "I choose freedom" below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on self-mastery and resilience. And hey, if you're ready for the next step in your journey, there's another video waiting for you right now. Go check it out. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I'll see you next time.